Hi, I'm Jeff Murr. I want to welcome you to Healthy Marriage Tips, where we deal with the issues that impact you and your marriage. Today, I'm going to touch on a topic that I have not addressed very much, and that is debt and your marriage. Many marriages face extreme pressure due to debt, and this is one of those topics that, although people feel the pressure and they fight over it, a lot of times it is not talked about very openly. It's almost one of those hush hush things. And many times in our families of origin, these were issues that were not addressed. They were not talked about. Let's start by going ahead and talking about how extensive is the problem. Well, to give you an idea, if you had to guess what the average credit card interest rate is, what would you guess? Now, it was hard to find some of these figures. A couple of years ago, it was 18.9. Now it's 16.04. Still, at 16.04%, that is a big interest rate. And another thing that I found interesting is the percentage of Americans that are maxed out on their credit cards. This was interesting because according to one source, which does do lending, they say it's 20%. But according to Forbes, which is a business publication, that number is closer to 50%. That's a big discrepancy. Forbes found over double the amount that was reported by the other source. Now, 50%, if you consider how many people live in America and how many families there are, and if half of them are maxed out on their credit cards, there is not much flex room when it comes to finances. This is a significant problem that somebody is not talking about. Now, percentage-wise, 40% of the families spend more than they earn, and with the average family, about 95 to 92% of the household income goes to pay for debt. And when you're in debt, you're faced with decisions. Where are we going to go? What are we going to do? Well, one thing that you've probably heard of is CCC, Consumer Credit Counseling. Now, this is not counseling. This is one of those misnomers. Although counseling is in the name, it is a consolidation. And consolidation, if that's all you do, is going to have limited success. You've got to make some changes in your thinking behind your spending and your habits, because over 2/3 of the people find themselves back in the same financial strait within 5 years after using a service like consumer credit counseling or debt consolidation services, which says it's almost like a merry-go-round in terms of the issue. And that is not a healthy thing. And this is not limited to the people that are just living from paycheck to paycheck. Another population that there's some interesting statistics on are lottery winners. Because lottery winners, they suddenly come into all this cash, but a majority of them are bankrupt within 5 years. How does this happen? Something's going on in their head, because the problem is not so much the money with the lottery winners, but some of their attitude toward money. And this is where counseling can help to go ahead and deal with things. Frequently, there is a contradiction. A majority of the stuff that I do is dealing with affairs, and with affairs, there's this weird contradiction where people say, I love my wife, but then they have an affair. Likewise, with the financial issues, an addictive process starts developing concerning the spending. They hate spending money, yet they do spend the money. So this happens, and it creates a difficult situation. Now, some of you may want to go ahead and try to do it on your own. if you do, there is a book called A Currency of Hope. This is essentially the big book of Debtors Anonymous. This will help you start to understand and address some of the bad habits that are behind massive debt. And I want to go ahead and address this topic, one, because I haven't addressed the financial issues before, but number two, I find that debt is one of the major stressors with marriages and causes a lot of fights and a lot of resentment. If you have any questions, concern, feel free to put them below. I am not a financial planner. I'm a counselor, so keep that in mind. If you like it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. And I do welcome feedback. I have listened to the feedback and made changes in terms of how I produce the videos, along with how frequently I go ahead and post them. I hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to visit either the Healthy Marriage Tips site on Facebook or Restore the Family on YouTube. I post to both places, and I hope to see you at each of them. Till then, goodbye.